I realize there is a lot going on in the world right now, and we're all thinking about our future and thinking about our country and all these things that are going on around us. But in all of this, I think some of us have had the opportunity to maybe slow down enough to have thoughts we haven't had in a while, to reflect on things we just haven't had time to reflect on. And I know that doesn't represent everyone. Some folks are working more now than they've worked in a very long time. Others are just scared about getting from one day to the next. I understand that, and I'm so burdened for folks who are struggling right now. I've had a thought, though, acknowledging that, I've had a thought in relationship to the people that we work with. Our organization, we work with broken people and hurting people, and I'm thankful to be involved in that work. But all of us work with people who are broken and hurting, people who have had difficulties in their past and trials and made bad decisions and the gambit. You can think of all of those things, and maybe you're in that category and you've come through some of that and you're able to help others. We all know what it's like to struggle. We all know what it's like to try to help folks who have struggled. I want to share something with you, though, that I think is important to understand, and it's this. There's a difference between sympathy and acceptance. Sympathy and acceptance. We could break down the difference between sympathy and empathy, and I don't want to do that here, but we'll use the word sympathy. Sympathy is caring about the needs or the concerns, the burdens of others, caring about what they're going through, whether you can relate to it or not, caring about what they're struggling with, and even doing your best to help them. There's a difference between sympathy and acceptance. I don't need to accept the sin or the brokenness or the hurt, the pain, the bad decisions, the broken relationships. I don't need to accept the bad or even, in a Christian sense, sinful things that people have done to demonstrate sympathy. I believe sometimes we're very quick to say, I reject the person, and so I refuse to be sympathetic toward what it is they're going through. Again, don't excuse bad behavior, don't excuse sinful behavior, don't excuse any of those things. There's nothing to excuse there. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But I believe as those who profess to follow Christ, we should still offer sympathy. If I can help someone who's made bad decisions, I'll do that. If I can help someone who has taken a wrong turn or gone a wrong direction in life, I'll do that. I realize there are limits, but let us be very sensitive to the fact that broken people, even people who put themselves in a broken, difficult situation, are people who need to be helped and encouraged and shown the right way. Romans chapter 5 and verse 8 is a verse I think about often. The Bible tells us in relationship to our relationship with God, that God demonstrated, He demonstrated His love toward us. Commendeth is the word in the King James Version that I like to read. It's often translated demonstrated. It's bigger than demonstrated, though. It really means to be introduced to. It's a deep word. God commendeth, He demonstrated, He introduced His love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. How did God introduce us to His love? By sending His Son and allowing His Son, Jesus Christ, to die in our place on the cross while we were still in sin. Again, there's a difference between accepting the sin, accepting the brokenness, accepting the bad decisions and the hurt and the pain, and demonstrating sympathy, a care and a concern for someone who is a child of God, if they've accepted Christ as their Savior, or a human being in need of a Savior if they haven't. Let us be very, very careful not to decide to do one or the other. I don't have to accept where you've been or what you've done to do my best to help you to move forward. I'd be very interested in your thoughts on this. This is a thought that's rolling around in my head. I've got a lot of thoughts rolling around in my head right now, but that's just one of them. And I hope that everyone's doing well, and we'll talk again soon.